Leather seats, LED lights, automatic transmission, sleek and stylish design. But wait, this is actually a full cargo bike. Hi, I'm Tillman from Radelbande, and this here is the brand new Lovens Explorer 2. And it's the first cargo bike where everything has been consistently implemented that people who normally drive a Mini Countryman, Range Rover or BMW X5 would wish for. Let's take a look in this video. This bike was lent to us by Lovens for as long as we need it, and they're supporting the production of this video. They don't have any influence though on what I say in this video. All thoughts and statements expressed here are entirely my own or the ones of my family. Also, Lovens won't get the chance to see the video before you actually do. We're completely brand neutral, and if you'd like this video to be shown to as many people as possible, then feel free to use that new hype feature. Because this is definitely a product that really deserves all the hype it can get. Hyper! Lovens is a brand of the Dutch company Optima Cycles, which has extensive experience in bicycle manufacturing and has also been producing cargo bikes for other companies for many years. Very, very interesting. All this experience culminated in 2021 with the launch of the first Lovens Explorer, and the bike was an instant hit. Thanks to a number of clever features, an attractive design, and perfectly targeting the right audience, it quickly outperformed and even overtook the then market leader in the Dutch market. Now, the Explorer 2 is set to do even better, and I really have to say, it's quite a real head-turner indeed. The design language has stayed the same, but you can immediately tell it looks more elegant. Refined, somehow more cohesive, and that's also due to the technical sophistication of the frame construction. This part here at the back is a huge single piece of cast aluminum, and that's how Lovens manages to avoid any weld seams getting in the way of the view. But instead, there are very smooth transitions, and this color also shimmers slightly differently depending on the light. Here, just like in the first generation, careful attention was paid to ensure the belt drive runs neatly along below the strut, which makes maintenance easier and makes the whole structure even more sturdy, because you don't need a frame opening at all. And third, the belt drive is smoothly guided within this cover here, remaining half enclosed and protected along its entire path. That prevents your pants or skirt from getting in the way, and the belt itself stays cleaner overall. A very, very nice and clever design. In the front area, this green plastic element featuring the Lovens logo is smoothly and elegantly integrated right here at the sides. Up here again, a cast component, and the entire remaining area is very nicely integrated, especially when you look further toward the front. This optional light strip was already the hallmark of the first Lovens Explorer, and here it's being carried forward. And it's even further enhanced as this LED strip can now also be ordered with integrated turn signals. It blinks right here on the sides. On the other hand, the headlight here at the front is now integrated directly into the box, which gives the entire setup a much cleaner and more streamlined appearance overall. That doesn't steer though. Below it, you've got the drum of the cable steering system, along with access to the fork and the ABS system located back here at the frame behind the front wheel. Here, Lovens managed to strike a solid balance between seamless integration and practical accessibility. Before we move on to geometry, let's look at another improvement to the Explorer 2 down here. The lower or rear steering drum is now even more seamlessly integrated into the overall line shape, and doesn't protrude outward as much as it previously did with the first model. That should significantly improve durability once again. Otherwise, we've got a geometry here that's very typically Dutch. That's brilliant, I love it. We have a very low seat angle, a shallow head tube angle slanted backward, and this results in a very upright riding position, no matter how tall you are. The saddle can also be adjusted over a wide range, from people around 1.55 meters all the way up to people my height, roughly 2 meters tall, giving a great fit for almost everyone out there. I actually still have to lower the saddle a bit to get the optimal sitting position, And another new feature is this specially designed diamond-shaped seat post here. It's proprietary, of course, but it effectively prevents the saddle from twisting. And it can't be removed so easily either, thanks to the built-in anti-theft protection. A suspension seat post will also be offered for the Lovens Explorer, specifically designed to fit seamlessly into this seat tube. The step-through height is quite comfortable, but not exceptionally or unusually low. And the handlebar can also be adjusted in several stages. You shouldn't really do this with this adjustable stem, but it's easy to adjust the angle, allowing it to be positioned closer or farther away. Just like the handlebar, which can also be adjusted almost infinitely in terms of angle. So now find the center again. And then it quickly snaps back into place. And once again, it's clear just how well everything is integrated and how cleanly it's all been put together, without compromising the adjustability of the handlebar or the saddle in any way. Lovens has really nailed that. The handlebar clutter is also significantly reduced. On the left, we've got the great Purion 200 display, and on the other side you'll find just a bell and of course grips and brake levers, but that's it. No additional switches or levers, which is actually due to the equipment. Let's talk about options. The Explorer 2 comes with 3 Bosch motors, 60, 75 and 100. Yes, those are the torque values indeed. Then you can configure the frame in 2 colors and also the contact points in 2 colors. Then there are 3 battery options, from 400 to 800 watt-hours, with optional ABS and a choice between automatic or manual Enviolo operation. So there's something for everyone, plus we haven't even mentioned the box yet among all these options. It's made from the miracle material EPP. Expanded polypropylene is used in motorcycle helmets, car crash boxes, and EPP is heat insulating, shock resistant, easy to recycle, and can be molded into virtually any shape, which makes it an ideal material for a box like this. And compared to the previous model, this one has been pulled down further, giving the whole wheel a sturdier look and less of a bathtub-like shape. And that also has an effect on the interior space. First of all, this box can support up to 100 kilograms, which is very good and increases versatility. Then it also offers a lot of space. The side walls are quite high, there's plenty of room in front of the bench for all kinds of luggage, and the kids aren't sitting right on the floor but slightly elevated. They sit a bit elevated, which creates even more space underneath the seat, allowing them to sit very comfortably in here. And just check out the bench, brown leather in the interior of the vehicle. This person has really made it. And then these seams are so beautifully and precisely finished. The material and craftsmanship feel really premium on the Lovens. The kids sit a bit higher, as I said, and have a very nice high shoulder line. However, the backrest isn't especially tall, but these headrests here are quite noticeable. They look nice, but unfortunately can't be adjusted in this case. This entire design, with the handlebar positioned quite far back, enables significantly older children who are well past the toddler years to use it comfortably and easily. They can comfortably sit here and have plenty of room to spare without ever constantly getting hit in the neck by the handlebar. Here, 3-point seatbelts with the fidlock system are also used, which can be locked so that young children can't simply open the belt by themselves. Older kids, though, are able to manage it just fine. Up here, soft rubber shoulder pads have been thoughtfully included. I have to say, I actually prefer the solution that was used in the Dolly model because it tends to work a bit more reliably overall. And then there's some really interesting accessories, and probably the most prominent one is this rain cover here. It securely hooks in at the back and can be easily opened on both the left hand and the right hand side. And then you can smoothly flip the entire section forward thanks to the durable front struts securely attached to the hinges, ensuring exceptionally easy loading and providing kids with effortless, hassle-free access in and out at any time, even when fully loaded. When you want to close it again, you simply give it a quick pull right here. It swings back smoothly, and then you can just easily hook it back in place here. It's really very easy to use. When it's fully open, though, it does feel a bit wobbly and less stable. And that's why, if it's windy, there's a second option available. Just open the side windows for airflow without any issues. It works really well indeed. Here, you either have easy access to your kids, or you can simply fold it down completely and even take it out if needed, which adds extra convenience and flexibility for your daily use. On nice summer days, for example. And now the kids can just climb in like this. Or else. You can just zip it up again, then flap it over like this, and after that, the kids can climb in as well. And then there's also the option to roll it up and secure it in place using this handy strap located right here on top. So overall, quite versatile and really practical for use during the summer months, especially since it also comes with a handy sunshade for this upper panel here. back here on the rear. There's another small hidden compartment where I've stashed my gloves for easy access and safekeeping when I'm on the move. You can easily reach it with the zipper, and there's a mesh screen thoughtfully placed back here, allowing you to still communicate well with the kids. But there's also a second flatter cover for the box, plus 3 more options for bringing along a third child. One option is with an extra seat bench that gets bolted on here at the front. A bike seat or a baby car seat. And then Lovens thought of a few additional features to enhance comfort for the kids. Because on one hand, there's the option for a small light with a USB-C connector. It gets attached right here. And a proper seat heater. Yeah, starting in 2026, kids in cargo bikes will get a seat heater. And I think that actually makes a lot of sense because up here in the front area, the kids are simply inactive. And it can get pretty cold in there, plus you've actually got one in your SUV as well. There are solutions for the less favored child too. It either rides on its own, or there's this optional rear rack, rated for up to 27 kilograms. Up here there's a MIKHD interface which works for both crates and child seats as well. On the side here, you could also attach panniers or similar accessories, making sure to fully utilize all the available space on the bike. And that's how you can actually be out and about with the Lovens Explorer, with 4 kids. That's pretty cool. Now we'll just take a look at it on the stand, which works really easily, and take it for a spin. Inside here are my team members, the test dummy, and my 2 heavy-duty 20-kilogram employees, those 2 solid, sturdy steel balls firmly in place. And so we end up with a total combined weight of 43 kilograms here in the front compartment. Easily fits 2 kids and still far from fully loaded. As always, we'll want to check acceleration first. From 0 to 25 kilometers per hour, maximum assistance level, and here we can't adjust anything. Here I've set the pedaling frequency to around 70 revolutions per minute. We'll try to keep that steady and then get started. And it's moving forward quite smoothly now. Forward, and now we're at 25 kilometers per hour. So in the range from 0 to 10, 0 to 15 kilometers per hour, the bike is really quick. Then it tapers off from 20 kilometers per hour, getting a bit more sluggish. But the Enviolo automatic really stands out. It's consistently reliable and operates in a very smooth, relaxed manner. Even with this load here on flat ground, and especially when it comes to hills, we'll see that right now on the mighty Jerusalem hill. I'm trying to pedal along lazily at around 200 watts. And then we'll see how fast we can get and just how fast we can keep going steadily over time. And we're starting at about 20 kilometers per hour. Not too much force on the pedal, 19 kilometers per hour. I can already feel it slowing down noticeably. 14.5 kilometers per hour, 12 kilometers per hour, 11 kilometers per hour, around 11 kilometers per hour here at the steepest section. That's definitely not fast, but I can still maintain my cadence of 70 revolutions per minute. That's really good because it shows it could potentially handle even stronger inclines. However, it must also be said, this isn't actually the most powerful motor offered with this bike. The performance line is really the mid-range option, and especially considering the power and torque, it handles this quite heavy bike pretty well overall, no doubt. That said, the noise level is surprisingly louder than with other performance line motors. It handles obstacles like this one really well. Only when the rear wheel rolls over, I tend to do a little hop. And that's of course because of this particular seating position, which as you can see is very upright. I'm also sitting quite far back over the rear wheel, and it's a really very comfortable seating position indeed. The handlebar position, meaning the grip position, is now set at the highest possible setting available here. Yeah, actually quite comfortable. One thing I might possibly wish for is for it to be just a little bit higher and maybe just a touch further back as well. So even a bit more like a classic Dutch bicycle. Might also be my height, 1.96 meters, if you want to lean it into a corner. The bike responds really very well and extremely quickly indeed. It has a certain weight in the steering due to the cable steering, but that isn't overly pronounced either. Not overly light nor overly heavy. Rather pretty well balanced overall. So of course it's anything but sporty, but that's not what the Lovens wants to be anyway. It wants to be a comfortable cruiser. The automatic system helps with that too, always selecting the ideal pedaling rate. What's also good is that the bike stays really stable even when you take one hand off, for instance to signal a turn, without wobbling or suddenly veering off to either side. Even if you briefly let go of the handlebar, it really does stay very stable then. Very smooth and well balanced, this Lovens. But what's it like if you ever want to go on a bike ride over gravel? Lots of leaves, of course. Yeah, it's just not the right terrain for this bike. That's definitely clear. The tires do have some grip, but not a whole lot. The bike itself is pretty heavy, though it's anything but sluggish to turn. But with that size, I wouldn't necessarily use it for trail riding. That said, it's definitely possible to take it on the occasional bike tour. No question. Definitely not its favorite terrain. So, big question, how does it handle when starting off uphill? Turbo mode, and thanks to the Enviolo, we're naturally in the smallest gear. We'll start off first without hill start assist, and then once with hill start assist. Without hill start assist, it looks like this. Pull the brake, step on the pedal. Yeah, the engine just needs a brief moment to properly register, okay? Someone wants to draw power here to kick in and deliver. That's why we'll now use the hill start assist. Press the pedal, activate hill start assist, and we're off. Okay, that's noticeably better, though still quite demanding. The gearing on the Enviolo is relatively low, but even then you really have to put a lot of power into the pedals on climbs like this one, especially to keep up momentum and avoid losing speed too quickly. Well, the performance line isn't exactly the best motor if you're often have to climb hills like that in your area, then I'd definitely recommend the Performance Line CX or the Cargo Line. When pushing on and off, the Lovens is actually really easy and convenient to handle. The saddle, or rather the bottom bracket, is nice and close to the ground. That means you can balance the bike really well, even when you're stopped at a traffic light. You don't have to stretch too much. And the step-through frame is low enough to make mounting easy, smooth, and comfortable. And there's also plenty of space down there in terms of width. He ran the red light. Yeah, and when pushing it, you have to balance the bike a little bit. It's relatively heavy to handle. The center of gravity is somewhat higher due to the characteristically Dutch configuration, especially when compared to other types of long john cargo bikes. There's also plenty of space both in front and behind, allowing you to walk through comfortably. Without the motor, the Enviolo automatic works just as well as with the motor. Here on flat ground, you can clearly see that I'm cruising comfortably here at 8 to 10 kilometers per hour. With very little effort at all, really. Super relaxed. And now let's take a look at how it is with the cable steering, how big the steering angle actually is. And right now it's actually slightly limited by the rain canopy, not really so much by the steering angle itself in the other direction. We really can maneuver around even the tiniest and narrowest corners, even with this large bike. On surfaces like this, you can also ride really relaxed. The question though is how it handles cobblestones. This bike handles that pretty well. The front suspension does a really good job, and even at the saddle, not much vibration comes through, thanks to these very wide Supermoto X tires, which already provide a good level of ride comfort. And at the same time offer solid grip. If you're after just a little bit more comfort, then I definitely recommend waiting for the option with the suspension seat post. It's always worth it because there's still a bit of vibration that makes it through to the saddle and handlebars, but honestly, very little. It's extremely comfortable. At the same time, the front wheel doesn't tend to bounce at all, but stays very stable, even on this kind of surface. And even when you have really bad roads like this one here. The Lovens absorbs an impressively large amount of bumps, despite the frame being quite massive to begin with. Unfortunately, I don't currently have access to a completely dry road here. Accelerate to 25 kilometers per hour and maybe. See how the ABS performs. And we'll apply the brakes at the second line. And that was the ABS. That's actually an impressive and remarkable result. We've managed to come to a complete stop here on a wet road. And it braked so hard that one of the two balls was flung forward with tremendous force. We didn't even need a full twice the bike's length to come to a complete stop, despite ABS, so there. That's definitely a clear safety benefit. If I'd done that without ABS, I wouldn't have been able to brake fully. Otherwise though, the brakes, these Magura MTC brakes, in terms of feel and braking power, are basically unbeatable. They're easy to pull, and Lovens has of course fitted the bike with matching brake discs. Braking test definitely passed. Yeah, riding the Lovens Explorer is definitely a great experience. It rides very relaxed, almost luxurious, though a bit more rear suspension would be nice. But up front, the little passengers definitely have it very, very comfortable indeed, no doubt about it. Now let's see how we feel about it after having spent a few weeks behind the wheel. Let's head back to the studio now. At editing Tillman's request, I'm to read out this explanation here. The seats inside the new Lovens Explorer are made of synthetic leather, what you might call vegan leather in marketing terms. No animal had to suffer for the production of the new Lovens Explorer 2. If you're reading this, you're stuck. Those were a few great weeks with the new Lovens Explorer 2. You'll find a full review using the Radelbande evaluation matrix via the link below in the video description. Now let's take a closer look at 3 things we really enjoyed and 3 things that, to be honest, didn't quite win us over in the end. And we'll start with the latter. The first point is, back here there aren't any storage compartments at all, apart from this small pocket up here in the roof lining. So your smartphone, the key fob, or even that snack bag will need to find space somewhere else instead, unfortunately. For example, in a box like this one. Second point, the backrest is, as is common with Dutch cargo bikes, very low. Here, Lovens could have actually made a real difference. And that ultimately ends up meaning the straps come from way down below and are pulled up and over the kids' shoulders. And especially when they're wearing thick winter jackets like they are right at this moment, the straps just tend to slip right off their shoulders really easily. That's not ideal. My kids have actually complained about it quite often. And the third thing is that the rain cover kind of slightly limits the handlebar's steering angle a little bit. Here you always need to position the handlebar in the rearmost, uppermost position and definitely have it properly adjusted at the dealer so the brake levers won't get caught or snagged anywhere. But the Lovens definitely has its strong points as well, and the first thing we really liked is the design. From every single angle, the new Lovens Explorer truly looks impressive and thoughtfully designed, easily setting it clearly and pleasingly apart from other models in this segment. The second thing we were really impressed by is the riding dynamics. No other Dutch long john rides as smoothly and precisely as the Lovens Explorer. It's really comfortable, with perfectly tuned steering and at the same time still highly agile and responsive. And that's the case whether the bike is loaded or unloaded. And the third point is, the space inside here and the maximum allowable weight make this bike very versatile. Whether you're planning to take small kids, multiple children, or even bigger kids, all the way up to adults. The Lovens can handle it all. But who exactly is the Lovens Explorer 2 best suited for? I'd say it's ideal for looking for a practical long john cargo bike for up to 4 kids that still manages to feel elegant and almost luxurious in every single possible way. Cargo bikes usually have this utilitarian look, but Lovens really manages to combine exceptional versatility and practicality with a sleek, elegant design in a way that truly stands out and impresses everyone who sees it. Similar to the expectations many have for their SUV, only here, we actually have a truly practical and sensible vehicle for city life. Let us know what you think of the Lovens Explorer. Right here you'll find a video of its more affordable sibling, the Dolly. Down below you can go ahead and subscribe to the video and we'll catch up with you next time. Bye. See you then.